week 2 picks for the NFL season, picking every week 2 game, picking every game for the 2023 NFL season, all the way up into the Super Bowl. I went 9-7 in week 1, 9-7 on the season as well. You guys see the picks to the left of me here. Kind of felt like this was a little bit of a better layout for you, so let's go ahead and get into it. I didn't put out a pick for the Eagles-Vikings, but I would have picked the Eagles to win this game. Clearly, they won it. Packers-Falcons. Packers-Falcons here, I think, will be a good game. I'm not so hype about the Packers beating the Bears because, yes, the Bears did load up on defense, but clearly they're still trying to sort that out, right? Clearly they are still having issues on the defensive side of the ball. The Falcons' defense is one of the best in the NFL. We saw what they did to Bryce Young. Clearly, they did have some concerns on both sides of the ball. Drake London not getting a lot of involvement. Kyle Pitts getting late involvement. Desmond Ridder at one point was 4 for 4 with 0 yards. But I genuinely think the Falcons are a better team than the Green Bay Packers. It's going to be a good coaching matchup. I like I like the Falcons roster on both sides of the ball better. I guess you could kind of take a hit or miss between Desmond Ridder and Jordan Love, but I'm going to take the Falcons here in this one. I've already told you guys I'm taking the Bills in a bounce back game against the Raiders. I was wrong about the Raiders. The way that they were able to hang in there and beat the Broncos was very impressive. Of course, Josh Allen played horrible football. I've got a bounce back game here for the Bills. They're not being on the road. They cannot go 0-2. Here's how they avoid the 0-2 hole. The Bengals and the Ravens, I will take the Cincinnati Bengals. Clearly, with the Ravens missing 4 starters, we talked about that earlier in the show. Joe Burrow is going to have a major bounce back day, and get a break of not having Marcus Williams back there to tool around with T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd or Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow is going to burn the tape from the last game, really forget about it happening, and ultimately is going to move forward and get him a win here. I've got the Seahawks and the Lions. The Seahawks missing their 2 possible tackles. Now, thankfully, Devon Witherspoon will be out there. Frank Ragnow was the only really concern for the Lions, possibly on the injury report, but he is healthy with that toe injury. He will be playing the game. He is a full participant, or he was an FP in practice. I don't want to see the Seahawks lose, but now the Lions are at home, probably still feeling a lot of that hype. I was probably wrong about the Lions because if that defense comes around and that offense stays elite, especially when Jameson Williams comes back, they're going to be a problem. A game that I see is going some ways in some ways in certain pick'ems, but not in mine. I'm going to take the Chargers here. They lose that shootout to the Dolphins last week. Brandon Staley's defense is now going to get a little bit of a break. Maybe Ryan Tannehill also doesn't play as bad as he did against the New Orleans Saints, who were an elite defense in the week 1 matchup. He does have DeAndre Hopkins. He does have Treylon Burks. He does have Derrick Henry. Now, the Saints did just super duper shut down Derrick Henry, which I knew was a key to the game. I was surprised by because I was very, very frightened by our defensive line. And the Chargers don't have much of a defense, let alone a defensive line. So the Titans damn sure could make this a long one for the Chargers, but I'm going to take the Chargers here. Maybe I'll get burned taking the Chargers back-to-back weeks. Bucks facing the Bears. Bucks are at home. They're in the home opener. I'm going to take the Buccaneers here as well. They got a nice high riding off of beating the Vikings in that 1-score game. Baker Mayfield apparently figured out the hand signals in that game against the Minnesota Vikings and was able to really decipher what was going on with that defense. I want to pick the Bears in a bounce back game, but with the way you just lose to a Packers team that I'm not very high on, the way the offense looked, the Bucs defense is clearly better than the Packers defense, in my opinion, especially with a defensive-minded head coach. Bucs are at home. I'll easily take that one. I mentioned earlier that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to avoid that 0-2 hole. They have to. They're on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's going to be a great coaching matchup. It's going to be a great offensive showdown, possibly a great defensive showdown, great quarterback showdown. Probably the game of the week here. I'll have my eyes on this one big time. Go ahead and give me the go ahead and give me the Kansas City Chiefs, possibly in a shootout. I could see a 35-31 potential type of matchup. It's going to be a really good one. We've got the battle of the number 2 and the number 4 overall picks here in the we got a battle of, the number 2 and the number 4 overall picks here, and Anthony Richardson going on the road. CJ Stroud in his home opener debut, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Ravens were at home last week. Anthony Richardson looked absolutely great last week. I think he's going to be even in more of a rhythm, an inferior team to the Jacksonville Jaguars, clearly in the Houston Texans, and also an inferior defense with the Houston Texans as well. Shane Steichen is going to get a lot more lot more chemistry going on here with Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to be more comfortable. CJ Stroud's also questionable with that shoulder injury as well. We got the Niners off of a blowout over the Steelers, and I think they're going to continue their same ways here. Not a blowout, but I will take the Niners in this game. Now, the Rams were impressive. We do understand that both tackles go down and they didn't have their, rookie who's supposed to be a star in Devin Witherspoon, who got drafted so early, play yet. Again, he's making his NFL debut, so that is going to be nice to see, but I will take the Niners here in this game. Giants over the Cardinals, that's a simple one. Giants have to bounce back off the 40-0 loss. If they fall here in the hole, they could have been a team that had to avoid the 0-2 hole for me, but I wasn't very high on the Giants coming in. I like their offseason kind of, and I like the fact that Daniel Jones got a lot of work last year. Brian Daboll's done his thing, but the Cardinals are a very bad football team. If the Giants lose here, the fans are going to be absolutely shitting the bed, so I'll take the Giants on the road. Jets and Cowboys. Some people are taking the New York Jets here. Will Dak Prescott crumble under the emotion that the Jets have behind them, playing with that grit for Aaron Rodgers? Will Dak be able to perform against an elite defense? But really, I think it comes down to, can Zach Wilson perform against an elite defense? Not possibly one of the best. They are one of the best defenses in the NFL, and the Dallas Cowboys. I will take Dallas at home. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I could see like 21-17 game, Dallas. Very, very defensive football game. We have the Commanders traveling over to the Denver Broncos here. I'm going to take the Broncos in this game. Now, the Commanders do have a shot to upset here because of how Sean Payton and the Broncos played in week one. Their defense was good, but when you talk about Eric Bieniemy being that offensive coordinator, that's going to present some questions on how is that offense going to look coming into week two. I know the Broncos have enough in the tank to win it. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson bounce back here with a win. Tua's 5-0 against the Patriots. He's going on the road to play the New England Patriots, coming off of one of his best days of all time, arguably his second best day, behind the 6-touchdown game against the Ravens. Now, Bill Belichick, I think, will really have some things here with Bill Belichick will have some things to sort out here with Tua. Not things to sort out with Tua, but some defensive schemes to play on Tua here. So Tua really doesn't, come out and throw the ball all over the yard like he did against the Los Angeles Chargers. And I don't believe that Belichick is going to let Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle run free. At least Tyreek will be doubled, if not bracketed, so he can't get up the field. But I'm going to take a wild offense, even though there might be a possible elite defense there to stop it. Give me the Dolphins. You already know I'm taking my Saints on Monday Night Football over Bryce Young, who struggled last week against a good Falcons defense, facing a arguably even better, if not just as good defense in the New Orleans Saints, who has already proven to be elite and played very well last week against the Titans. They just unfortunately played down to their competition. New Orleans on Monday Night Football in a national game will take it. And as much as I want to take the Cleveland Browns in this game because of how well they played and how much they shocked the world against the Bengals, I called them in that upset. Go look at the last video, the title, Browns will upset Bengals at home. Loved that upset call there. I just don't see Mike Tomlin taking another L and going 0-2, taking an L at home against a Browns team that's in a divisional, against a Browns team that he's able to have their number, realistically is the better coach than Stefanski. But if Deshaun Watson at any point decides to play just 70% of what he was, he's going to be better than Kenny Pickett. Both of these offenses are loaded with weapons. Both of these defenses are loaded with weapons. That's why I think it comes down to coaching here, as Deshaun Watson, I don't believe yet, is going to take that real step and be that elite quarterback because he didn't play like that in week one. Give me the Steelers here in this game. Took the Eagles, so I'm 1-0 for the week. Give me the Falcons, Bills, Bengals, Lions, Chargers, Bucks, Chiefs, Colts, Niners, Giants, Cowboys, Broncos, Dolphins, who dat, New Orleans Saints, and the Pittsburgh Steelers.